clean.
Namo Manju Shuye, Namo Su Shuye, Namo Wu Dama Shuye Soha, O Namo Manju Shuye, Namo Su Shuye, Namo Wu Dama Shuye Soha, O Namo Manju Shuye, Namo Su Shuye, Namo Wu Dama Shuye Soha. Zogi Shuna Lai Chanchu Badu Dani Kapsuchi Dagi Chunyin Kibe Tsunangi Yola Benche Sangi Chupa Shu Shi Peki Chushin Me Chuzhan Yura Lingshi Nide Kimbadi Sangi Shindu Mide Waye Jogen Nanda Shinla Chupa Shu Yi Dang Guru Rana Menda Lagang Niya Dayang So set our motivations. For the sake of all sentient beings, I'm going to receive the teachings and put it into practice. So when we talk about bodhicitta, which is the main discussions in this text, so bodhicitta, there are of two types. One is the conventional bodhicitta, and another one is ultimate bodhicitta. And we mainly talk about conventional bodhicitta in this context. Verse number 7. Presently, for those circling without freedom, self-grasping is Mara's messenger. While parting from the happiness of selfishness and hedonism, we should willingly accept hardships for the welfare of others. So the verse says, presently for those circling without freedom. So the one who causes to circle in samsara, from the very top of the samsara, and down to the health of Avicii. So the one who causes to circle in samsaras again and again is our habituations to afflictions. So due to this strong habituation to afflictions for the sake of oneself, then we create karma. And because of these creations of karma, then we circle in samsaras again and again. So the one who causes to circle in samsara again and again is caused by karma, and this karma is accumulated, and this karma is created under the control of afflictions for the sake of oneself. So so when we talk about afflictions, so we have strong habituations to afflictions, and there are two main afflictions that we strongly habituated to, and they are self-cherishing attitudes, and another one is self-grasping. So because of these two, self-cherishing attitudes and self-grasping, they're working together, and then we create karma, and then because of these creations of karma, we circle in samsara. And he says, while parting from the happiness of selfishness and hedonism. So we already understand that the one who causes circle in samsaras again and again uncontrollably is because of the creations of karma under the control of afflictions. The two main ones, self-cherishing attitudes and self-grasping. So we understand that these two main ones are the one who causes to circle in samsara. So we have to understand. So we should not let ourselves under the control of these two main afflictions and then create a karma and then circle in samsaras again and again anymore. So we should not do anything for the sake of one's self happiness, and we should not do for our own welfare only. So we have to counteract this. In oppose of this concept, then we have to separate from the happiness of selfishness and hedonism. So hedonism is longing for happiness, longing for happiness, yeah, and in this case, it's longing for one's own happiness. So we have to separate from them. We do not do anything just for the sake of oneself, not for the happiness of oneself, and instead we should engage in virtue with our three doors, with our body, speech, and mind for the sake of others. So we have been doing all this for the sake of oneself, and that is not correct. It's not is improper, because they are the one who causes to circle in samsaras again and again. So we have to do or work for the sake of others, work for the welfare of others with our three doors. So we should put effort in working for the sake of others, and by doing so, working for the sake of others, then we will experience the result of happiness, not the result of suffering.
디지 번야서데 니가서 가르시고는 군조 장주고 세대 시험도 做 군조 장주고 생되게 파 가야 장주대 군조 장주 세대 두번년에 제와라 做가샤다 가르스나 랑진지 차고 랑진지 차선다 단 니가지 뒤 서다 간다 做랑진지다 그래서 做랑진지데 기다 단지 머리 바데 디 레다코 마서 따바리진 거의 싸와데 디 차오로와 이는 단단 니 갑도지 디데 조데 랑진지들 하샤 번양데 단지 머리 바데 하샤 와 단지 머리 바데 샤보레스 다디 지나 단지 머리 바데요 디 차데 디다 레데 니 갑도지 간다 디도 조데 랑진지 코나 대 샤고야 견제데 하고 그래 랑진지 샤고야 견제가 먼저 장주고 세나 做냥리 징계지 조지게 까고야 做가서 랑진지 차고 랑진지의 마가바이나 마도바이나 대신 제가 손두고 어디선다 뒤에서 뒤가서做的 다진지들 하고 그래서 동보지지
And the second line of this verse, it says, self-grasping is Mara's messenger. So regarding the second line of this verse, so there are many explanations. There are different kinds of explanations. So one of the one of the explanations is in this context or in this text, we are trying to. It talks about the main thing it talks about is cultivating conventional bodhicitta. And the one who stopped us from cultivating a conventional bodhicitta is self-cherishing attitudes. So in this case, Mara's messenger. So the Maras refer to self-cherishing. So Maras refer to self-cherishing. So we have to identify the Mara refers to self-cherishing because this self-cherishing is the one who stop us from cultivating conventional bodhicittas. So if we do not abandon these self-cherishing attitudes, then there is no way we can cultivate the attitudes of cherishing others in our mind stream. So in general, when we talk about maras or when we talk about the root of samsara, usually it refers to self-grasping. And since in this context, the main topic discussed is about self-cherishing, self-generating conventional bodhicitta, therefore the maras is identified as the self-cherishing attitudes, and the messenger refers to self-grasping.
다 디지 번야세워데 맞을 레이징게라고 고고로 번야세워데 레이징게로 레이징게 다디 다다 잡으려데 단지데 다 레이징게 다 레간디 찍으스나 다디 단지데 원이 전에 레이징으다 간디 찍으스나 다베 소소라 자 머니바 튀징게지 안초나 자지 켜디 자데 머니바 튀징게지 단지데 잡으려 단지데 레이징고 로와 단지데 소소라 레이징네 자데 많이 받죠. 미기 순제보 차세지야게 든지게 레지고 당지디로 미시기 든지 통치야게 레지고 다 리지 차잖아 리지비나 다 리지게 차세라서 신발라서 든지로 든지게 다 당지 머리 받디 요신제라 다 강가 레지게로 미기타나 앞에 현차지야게 레지바 안쪽을 다 태바이나 현차지야게 레지바 로아 다 리지 레자 털이나 야 심마지야게 두스 칸다로아 레지고레 다디 왜네지 번하라래 리지 번하라.
And so when we talk about Mara's messenger, and these messengers is identified as self-grasping, right? And these self-grasping is really the messengers or the one who give orders, the one who give orders or who assign tasks to others. So, like for example, when we hear an unpleasant sound, then we generate afflictions in relation to that unpleasant sounds. And in the background, self-grasping is the one in the background who assign others' afflictions to work. And when we see some beautiful things, then again, this self-grasping assign tasks to others' afflictions and ask them to do things like to generate attachment or clinging towards that beautiful things. So similar to some nice tangible objects and etc. So self-grasping is the one in the background, and assign tasks to others' afflictions and ask them to do their works. So as long as we have a self-grasping, then others' afflictions are put to work.
That is Digi Ponya, the Dudenimo, the Koranimo, that Yam the Yota Shila, that Korani Chigila to Wushivota, Chigila Robotine, that Kawang Ansope, Kawaina Chitu, the Konich. The Koraniga with the Yot Chisadi, that Ansope, Pachi Korani Jela, Korani Tapak Nanzo Labala, Tani, the Tibanashi, that Chitu, Koraniga with the Chisai Shingela. That also tourists in Damodel, Saja. Damodel Chili, Dinica, with Jody, Sergeant Rabinaso Chili.
Tourist,
oh, tourist now. The tourist children, also tourist children go, Saja, and also Gavalapchi Sasa Menjo, and this Saja Yidoa, Zebo, or Nila Chilo, the Koranica. That Nila Chisna, Solodica, Karuquersna, Giovanachi Quaki Omar, Getanachi Omar. That Korani, Pigi Patindo, Drobi Necala, that Shenchachesa, the Digimoto she gets a Sasal Kitria Korani. Or the Digin Chino, that on the Korani, Chiquila Topa, portion it is in the
way. So, as long as we have these two, Maras and the messengers, that refers to self-cherishing attitudes and self-grasping, as long as we have these two in our mind streams, they work with each other, and then they are like a rope. So they are like a rope. So tie our hands and then lead us to wherever they want to. So it's just like a tour guide. They are like a tour guides. Who guide us or who bring us to different places. So and they are literally like a tour guide. So bring us to places to look see. So however here they bring us to a place where there is no virtue to be accumulated. So we just travel to another places and then we do not accumulate any virtue. We do not accumulate any virtue when we travel to that place. And then, so when we come home empty-handed. So empty-handed in terms of there is no virtue accumulated along the trip. So, and what we bring home is our attachment towards the place that we've been to.
That is that on the round change the Danzi Niro to see. Ye Ganda Danzi Mari Pasiva and Amazon native Dutch and Watoikala, Danzi Mari by the Pond. Danzi the Pongwer. Danzi the Pongwer de round change the Pond to your money. Round change the Pong to a jinka, Mabam Wangi, that Shintala Hunger, yes, Shintala, Dutch and Shintala Hunger. And this one's on. The Ran Jinzi Pama to a chain the Shin Jeba, Suma to a Junsi Deku. Shin Jeba, Mother Junsi Dewangi, they Ganda a Shintala from the Yes.
So these two, self-cherishing attitudes and self-grasping, and for solitary realizers or hearers, so these arhats, when they achieve the arhatships of solitary realizers or arhat, they abandon self-grasping. So however, they haven't abandoned self-cherishing attitudes yet. And because of not having abandoned self-cherishing attitudes, they fall into the extreme of peace. So the reason why they haven't abandoned, they are unable to abandon self-cherishing attitudes is because they cannot, they haven't cultivated the attitudes of cherishing others.
That is the being that the lady taking your move on by using the children into the in the dog in the Puma Shazi or the Sisondwa. That do machines.
And next verse, verse 8. The sufferings of all beings who are similar in kind, in being driven by actions and habituated to the afflictions, should be heaped upon us hedonists.
다간다 된다데 랑링아 저 다다지 공부 시바 나실레그 다랑자는 코와 통마메 바네 다랑와 뿌자야메 바다 코이 등에라마 코이네라만 창데와 코이네라 창데 다간다 등에 나 저바 다간다 용다 용시바데 다 진지게 왕 레게 바사바 예서 디왕게 레게 바다 다 단지머리가 디왕게 레게 바사 용바레스 된다와다 다 녀무바 녀무라피는 돈디 하자체와 녀무 공바 디왕게 다간다 레사바 다지 공부 시바데 된다 지바르와 다 신치 간다 로와 신치 랑다 린지비 제고요지 등하나 랑 코나 대원데바데 지반쟁에 단 진진 디게도 파포네 다 인종바시네 네바 소고레 제 인종바시바 다 간다 수도게 라마 이랑 군조라야 소와다니 다 소판 종발라 다 신지로도 소스 로와 대나페나 녀무바다 랑 진데다 랑 딘데 대왕기 네 녀무왕 공바진에 레 남이 라미나조 사네 로와 네 등에 코인이나마 양도 창고바 등에 용고바 랑나시 린지바세와데 근데 등에 용시 린지바도 거로와 등에 용게 린지바로 거라마도 맞아 메나 메린디바 치나 치린디바 이렇게 좀 말이네 로와 이렇게 좀 말해 다 등에 용데 린지바도 거로와 등에 용게 린지바 참하게 등에데 다 찐지게 되는 랑데 닝게 되는 다 찐지 되게 되는 파포네 라마이다 군조선지 신질라도 소스네 대파 내봤어요. 인정 보시고. 뭐 diniji lo dira.
So this verse talks about the sufferings of all beings who are similar in kind, in being driven by actions and habituated to the afflictions. So this is similar to the previous verse that talks about the one who causes circling in samsara again and again and experience different kinds of sufferings is because of the creations of karma influenced by afflictions, and mainly refers to self-cherishing attitudes. So we are similar in kind in terms of how says this? We are experiencing sufferings. So similar in kind. We are similar in kind with other sentient beings in terms of the sufferings that we are experiencing. So we experience sufferings because of the creations of karma under the influence of afflictions, mainly the self-cherishing attitudes. So similar in kind refers to this experience of sufferings. So it doesn't refer, this similar in kind doesn't refer to beings. So we are similar in kinds in terms of beings. So not like we are all like human beings or we are all like animal beings. So not refer to that. We are similar in kinds in terms of the experience of sufferings. And then there should be heaped upon us a hedonist. So us hedonist, in other words, is should hit upon myself or should hit upon this self longing for happiness. So by understanding all experiences of sufferings is caused by these self-cherishing attitudes, wanting happiness for oneself, then so I pile all the sufferings of all sentient beings who are similar in kind, and then upon this self longing for happiness, which is the self-cherishing attitudes, and then we make prayers to our lamas, and we make prayers to our meditational deities. So may the sufferings of all sentient beings are piled upon this self-longing for happiness. So pile or heap upon, what does it mean is we destroy this self-longing for self-happiness.
다 간도 친다보다 시미다보 가리나페 신다 등도 가리나 칼란 챔피트나 프랑스 주고 쉽게 찌찌기 세네 찌기 사네 근데 지야다 딱 normal เป็น녀무바 공바 휴침보 니여로 왕 차고 그와 녀무만 공바 휴침보 여로 왕 어떻게 차고 당아서 녀무페 지와 체로 몽본페 데라 공디 휴침보지 다 기 샤워 두바데라 앞에 하장 공리 용어 해도 예 들어야 몇천 정도의 용용이 차와 성장 다 예 샤와지 두발라 나서 밀에 넘치다 되게 줄 팔로바이나 단도디 시카본도와 시카레 카본도와 뭐 딘디소자 다 녀모나 공부 휴체보다 라고야 야마고랑 이지 공부 휴체보 대왕 내는 거 좋아 레고야 딘디소자 다 녀모나 공부 휴체보 대왕 나서 지기질라페 랑사고로 기차 시당지 말이나 랑사 쿵두 사초 쇼라버지 에로와 야 칼라 팀이 된다 이노 야 랑사 쿵두 사와르시 딘디 레바이나 간다 녀무디스 공부 치 땅을 레고야 좋아 레고야 다 미리치페 부고 얘기는 걸 셈바zambo 베 밀라 지금 만디바 딘디 쳔바이나 랑사페 수수미치션 딘디 야분드린도와 네 닌제 오다든지 게 샤와라 파샤 zambo장게 딘디 리소 이거야 좋아 딘디 이거야
So, how to show or how to prove that we are greatly habituated to afflictions, and just look at the results, then we can understand whether we are strongly habituated to afflictions or not. So, in this present life, like such as animals, animal beings like dogs or cats. So, if you give them food, then they will fight with each other, and then in order to enjoy the food you give, right? So this is also a proof that sentient beings are strongly habituated to afflictions. So look at ourselves, and when we hear something not nice, so others, as the way they talk and the tone they talk, so not nice to hear, then we immediately get angry. So even though we don't have to, so we never train in getting angry, but we just get angry naturally when we hear something not nice to hear, unpleasant to hear. So even when we are served, the food they serve is not nice, we order one is not nice, then we immediately get angry as well. So this is also another proof to show that we are strongly habituated to afflictions. So without much trainings, without much training, we just get angry easily. So this is another proof. And another proof is when we are trying to do good things, when we are trying to engage in virtue, and because of not much habituations to doing good things, then when we are trying to engage in doing good deeds, we find ourselves very difficult to do that, to do those good things. So even though we come, we're trying to learn those good deeds, and then we're trying to do those good deeds, but it is difficult compared to doing those bad deeds or misdeeds. So, however, there are some people who are strongly habituated to doing good things in the past. So due to this strong habituation to doing good deeds in the past, and they left good imprints in them, so they bond with compassions. So, and because of compassions, when they see others suffers, and then they shed tears and etc. And some kids, some kids, they are born with a good character. So this is another proof. This is possible. However, most of us are strongly habituated to afflictions. And next to and verse number 9, first two line. Supposing we were to dwell entangled in selfishness at that time, to counteract it, we should give our happiness and pleasure to migrating beings.
Kasi shansen gashi la randi ji kanda chuzi shuba ina roa chuzi leba ina kasi tembi le siba ina te shansen rani ya hakone temata pa te doba chi yes roa temata te doba chi rangi digite tan roa yana pa jini roa rangi digite roa yana pa ani lansa te hakone randila chua shiba de wang da mandwa de ha ko ne o da di le so sa langsa nonzhi de jun zi liu de ha ko ne langsa ba xin de la pa yang pa jun wo wa wo den de ji le se ko da do la rang di jin do la jin se wo.
Yeah. So most of the bodhisattvas, it is impossible for them to cling to self-happiness due to their cherishing others' attitudes. However, some bodhisattvas, due to their past strong habituations to self-happiness, to self-happiness, then these self-cherishing attitudes might arise for a very short time. So when this happens to bodhisattvas, they immediately recognize the self-cherishing attitudes has arise, and then they reflecting the faults of self-cherishing attitudes, and then turn these into a means to increase their cherishing others' attitudes. So they immediately abandon it by reflecting the faults of self-cherishing attitudes, and then they turn it into a means to increase their cherishing others' attitudes. So after they recognize these faults, and then they offer or give their happiness to others. And the next two lines, likewise, when those around us mistreat us, we should be filled with contentment, thinking this is retribution for having distracted them.
다베 신다 랍제부터는 간데 람도 잠못 되마 그러와 다 간다 코로나 강이 가려나 강에서 파세바 근데 노놈집 간사 테네 주주부터네 바로 받제바 그러와 다 소소 링와 유승부터네 다 롱지 간디부터네 파 든지 로바 제사 다 조보토모 파마네네제 간디이나 게좀 고요 간디이나로와 다 든지 바로 받지네 다 제라 다 진리 수수가 측가디치야 파샤 다양자 진리론자 수수가 리더 소라서 네바치야 그러와 수수가 롱지라 츠네바치야 수수가 리르 네바치야 수수가 소라 네바치게 어다 든디지 이거 누나 다디 미 바로 용기의 지복을 죄를 상당하여 말이에요.
So when to our parents or to our friends or to our students or to our companions, so when they are in difficult times, then when they need help, then we offer our help to them. Then we offer good things. We offer like gift to them, and then when they need advice, then we give advice to them. Then we even show them the path. And then we help them to get rid of problems, and we also help them in terms of according to Dharma. So we have benefited them in these ways, and instead of helping us back when we have problems, and then they repay kindness with ingratitude, so they do not help us back, and instead they harm us. Harm our physical body or trying to take our lives. So when these happen, we shouldn't think about their faults.
다 콩알아 든지치 지야데 다 코로나 많이 봐 나랑 그배나 지왕엄하게 빼 밀라파 안내바지야 그러와 밀라파 독자시바 고 순지 차와 간디나 빼 밀라 판내바지네 다 미게 쏘라 내바지바 롱질라 내바지바 로와 릴라 내바지바 딘디 왕게 다 수수라 렌디의 춘코레 다 처럼 밀라 내바지나 처럼 지부 조수베서 수수수수라 니치 제고 해서 로와 수수수수라 빼 간다 다 간다 저는 지분 누에 다 저런게 레들 다스 렌디의 고글 다스 저런 렌디의 고글이었어 저런 거 두서 파 내가 제 차렸어 제 차례 밀을 내버지네 다 소소 지부 이거 누에스 다 소소소소라서 니지 되었다 그러니까 신경도 미신들 파도스 지 리로에 와와 다 되면 이거 소소소소라서 드리세 니지 되야세 되리.
So when this happen, when others trying to harm us after we help them, then we shouldn't focus on the faults, or we shouldn't focus on the bad things they do to us, and instead we should think to oneself that all this happening to me is because whatever I have done to them in the past. So I've caused harm to their bodies, or I have already taken. I took their lives in the past, or I destroy their wealth and possessions and etc. So because of whatever I have done in the past with my three doors, and that refers to the misdeeds that I've done to them in the past. Therefore, this is the result of my past misdeeds. So now I'm experiencing what I've done to others. So then you ask yourself, are you happy with whatever is happening right now? So then you feel relief by asking yourself these questions. Are you happy?
Dimache soso chidang nang jipe yondala soso ge mila paro pachanja jene kero soso semba sambo lo jirwa soso semba sambo da mi tindu simbi jina pa soso ge kanda li longje kandi ge tone lingwa yusung ge tone pa longje kandi tin ro pa tapar hi chenje ge chi tindi jende ge chi da soso la kari na mande ba li la na sa sewa da soso la sunya ba chinge sewa tindi mambo ji chong ge 로 파소소기 상부 간디 다 최체네 최개와 두바다 밀라로 빠치바다 간디 잠보 제바이나 간디 단두 소소라서 에베 만데바다 마치바다 든디 마보 질레데 바치와 다 든디 질레오디 데 카시기 상호당 마시네 미 카시피나 칸장부 나시네 된다 디파 짱자 사네게 미다 두로 간디 지나 번녀바 짱자 치니게 다 대초베 녀바 지레데 단두 총제나 랑도 주바 샤월레가 간이래나 랑도 주바 든디 유니게 요르와 든디 외에서 여러고 맞아 셴바든디 내가 지소하더라데 야지런데 든디 마보 여러 신지소 제네베 다냐세나라 베 든도 세나레 든디 세네베 내가 소할베 코로나 나사 메바 든디기 롱지 피순소바 든디 유도고래 든디 외에서 여러와 다트소 요리 데이컬라 소소 상원 야부지 땅마시바이나 다 렌디 세워들라 코바타에 내가 쉬어요 레서 와 렌디라 코바타에 내가 쉬어요 이제 준세 간이 상황방스나 다 그런 게나 데치 피스서바 샤왕 엠바 컨디션나 베 소소라 란도 주야데 나미기 레왕게 그 디긴 제블라 롱치고래 뭐 단다 체인되게 디바 차지사 디긴 제블데 신의 된지 잡았다. 신의 리저래.
So in these lives we can see many examples. So some people they have good heart, they always help others, they help others with their body, speech and mind, and then they offer gifts and wealth and possessions to others, and they create as many virtues as possible. And however, to those good people, kind people, and then bad things happen. Like for example, they fell sick, and then their life is unhappy, and many bad things happen, or many undesirable things happen to those good people. And there is one group of people, and another group of people that we can observe in this present life as well. So many people, bad people, so they always harm others, so harm other human beings. They also harm others, animal beings as well. So when this kind of bad guy or bad people, then when they do business, then their business is so good. And when when they have some things to do or projects, and then they always succeed in whatever they do, and they even live a good life. So in our eyes, they live a good life, and we do not see. They even have a good body, do not have much sicknesses. So when this happen, when these two things we observe in this present life, then we have to think properly. So otherwise, there is a danger we will discriminate. There is a danger that we will discriminate or denigrate the karmic cause and effect. So whatever they are experiencing, good people experience the bad things or the undesirable things happen to those good people, and this is the result of past negative karma. And the good things and the good deeds they do in this life, they will experience the good result from it.
다 그런 제상 되어서 내가의 신지 소치만 다미난 소치 다 그런 배야 총에 가와 더이나 그 농지 비수서 받아 야부 용되게 다 남이기 레 상보 디긴 레부도 누구래 다 딩남이기 레 상보 디긴 레부도 지조 예 베지 땅사 디 레부도 베지 땅사 다 치마라 다 단달 내가 두자 장자 레고래 다들 먹이와 차 전부디 싸니 다 치마 까봐 새로네 다 간다 되지 모양이 다 등이 용게 소살고 등이 용아 소살 다 넘어기 개들 전부 이제 루지와 루지서 다 제가 저 새로만 볼때 다 등이 용가게 내내 봐서서.
Similar to those bad people, though they have a good life, they have a great wealth and many possessions and etc. So, this experience of this is the result of their past good karma. So, it's a result of their karma, a good karma accumulated in the past. So now they are using those results. And one day, when the result exhausted, then whatever left is the negative karma they have accumulated in this present life. So these misdeeds they accumulated in this present life will become the cause of their future eons of sufferings.
다들 미상보대로와 다 미상보대 소소의 최고와 두바 레밀라 페이스기 로바 징게레 간지나 코란 다 내급지 문제게 나사 마음보 용바다 디 선내바 징게 들이 마음보 질레바이나 다 코란 그 음미 새로 마음보래 간다 디바 산전 제부도 소소 단다 추진을 하죠 용여 다 녀네 소소기 단다 기워 두신바 자고 다 제와 제목까봐 처럼처럼에 디치 피수서 봐 용하게 고 간다 게자데사사 와 게자사사 오다 드니페 제와 첨보요래 디 상호야고 땅마시바이나 오다 나라페 샤와상보 간디지나 에 네바다 마데바 마치바 짱자 요고도 코라 디차치 같이 제바이나 응네 란도 짱자 주고도 당연히 레준이라고 요나 상상다 든디 상호 코무시바 말에 든디 소소 상호다에 개첨보려 마도 디간다 렌데라 로다 치쇼바이나 때때 뺏어와 로다 지나 뺏어그래 오 든디 순자 소도라다 소소치네 소소 렌데 돌아 디스 상호다도 그러와 렌데서 와딜라 상호다가 개첨보 잡고
So to those good people, they do all kinds of virtues, and they always have this mind benefiting others. And at some point, then they felt sick, and then or they encounter with those undesirable things happened in life. So this is the result of past negative karma. So this is the result of past negative karma. So they have done some, they have performed, they have done the bad deeds, misdeeds in the past, and now they are experiencing the result of it. So, however, the good things they perform, the good things they do in this present life, and these all these roots of virtue will become the cause of their future eons of happy realms or happy migrations. So if we do not think properly, I'll say when we see these two groups of people, and if we do not think about if we do not have a proper understanding of karma, then we might have a wrong view, thinking that when I do good things and I only experience a result of sufferings, others, they do so many bad things and they experience happiness in their lives. So they might have a wrong view in relation to karmic cause and effect if we do not understand karmic cause and effect properly. So it's very important to have a proper understanding of karmic cause and effect.
근데 진짜 다 간다 소소글레 장에 간디지 사와이나 레 잠보 사와이나다 레 냠바 사와이나다 다 간다 돌레 까바자 ndobaiне chusa rugu chusa go marise chusa rugu marise ro ndole sanji ma sonje ro dije tangile ne kabaje chimasa soji dila babana ndebe mi bani do njirose e sanji ge sonje ye sonje de da kanda susu pe nekala munde binasa lebunu na ososo chiwa ngamigi legi da susu ndebe de sosola mida mi sasa so pa gawa gone tus debaina desemba shukumare susu ya getala chimasa ndore so Jebu Pamia Talu.
Because Jebu de Mina means
Jebu the social doing Humbaina. That's also legend Jebu mean the Jebu the Niba, so the social song of Data Wachi. Roa. And Jebu means the Susugi. And Jebu the Noni, that kind of Tiba the Tanwa here, Kandaroa, Ameba Chanwa, Yanja Numa. Or that kind of Degeneroa. That's also the same Bashuma Devachi, so the Kangi Jebu Chumaina. Or that's also the lay, Nimba Yasasa digging Jebu the Rendusan, this also with Delapa, Roa, Tandolini. Doing it about Tandolini, the Muntin is also good. That years ago, so good, Jebu dinging no more that the digging, Jongin Jusunapa, a shower Zambuch can, Sulapa, count 2 Jebu, Sansa, the Digi Sanota, the word is the Digi Chetan Roa. What that lays on the condition of conduct, Juju Katika, but Jaton Kazan Dovina, that conduct. Dipa Sabaina, so Shaton Chema Tubaina, Jebu tending in where, that give us Sabaina, that so Surpe, Jebu Zambo the Shim Ogubare, Roa, Sichi Laya Paya Marirua. Kanda, Nazu Naji, Shinto in Jebu Dabota, the two Ridra, original Landra, Lungu Chendra, at the Dindami. Yang also Jebu give me less than Jebu the Tenditsawan in Doyama. Hindu Jebu, Beijing, Hinduada, Roa, Chui Chendwada, mates in the water, dominance on you. What that Lake Anani in Jebu the Tenditsawan in Doyama. During Bokazim Kazalawaina.
Kaza. Dogi City youngest on
Dogi City, that turned out to the Kaba Jachimas, Le, Star, San, Jesu, you send over the Kaba Jada Tom, Duatano, and Jibu the lie on my way, Mari, the mates here, Mar Chichia Maris, indeed, a Yoris of Jibu. Gay Legistan, Jibu, Susan Saint Gumari Yoris, McGee Legistabina, Yami Shadow Chetu, Shadow Chematovaina. Jebu the Indemi would yes, what I can that. A mates here, my church here, my Hindu and Jebunashi, I can that. Juduada, mates about me, where am I?
Yeah, so the words from Sutra, it says, karma accumulated, then it will not go wasted, even after 100 eons has passed. So these words from Sutra, it says that when we experience a result of our past karma, like for example, if we were to experience suffering results of our past negative karma, then we understand whatever that we are experiencing right now is due to the past karma we accumulated in the past. So now I am experiencing the result of this past karma. So I will just experience it. I mean, it is ripened already, so I will just experience it. And after I experience the suffering result of this past karma, then it will cease. So you shouldn't feel very depressed or very disappointed when bad things happen in our lives. So because this is the result of our past negative karma. So now experiencing it, then it will cease. And so we embrace such sufferings. So while embracing such sufferings, then to prevent from experiencing the negative experience, the suffering results again, then in this life, I will try my best. I should try my best to engage in virtues with my 3 doors so that I will not experience suffering results in the future. So this, the karma accumulated will not go wasted even after 100 eons has passed. So this apply to white karma, refers to virtuous karma, and this apply to negative karma as well, the black karma or the non-virtuous karma. So if we have accumulated negativities in the past, and if we do not purify it, and it will stay just like the word says, it will not go wasted even after 100 eons has passed. Similar to whatever virtues that we have done in the past, and it cannot be taken away by others, and it cannot be others cannot stow it away, and so we don't have to worry. And then whatever good things that we have done in the past, and if it's not destroyed, then we will definitely experience the result of this good karma, even after 100 eons has passed. So this karma, white and black karma, or virtue and non-virtue, they are not like the normal fruit. So they are not like the normal fruit. It can be burned by fires. It can be carried away by a big water, a big flood, and it cannot be carried away by strong wind as well. So these white and black karma, they stays and they do not go wasted even after 100 eons has passed. So verse number 10, wherever an intolerable ailment arises in our body, it is the sharp weapons of bad actions turning against us for having inflicted harm on the bodies of migrating beings. Now we should willingly take upon ourselves all ailments without exception.
This also part and dog will never chair. Pa, same Madeba Machiba so. The dig never cheat. This also never itself and indeed, Susula cover the years and a decent down the years that Tambuchua.
So when this happened to us, intolerable ailments or like sicknesses, when many bad things, undesirable things happen to our body, for example, sicknesses and etc., and many mental and our mind becomes unhappy. So when these happen, and this is the result of us having harm others' physical body and caused unhappiness to others. So we should understand that this is the result we experiencing. This is the result of what we have done to others.
That indeed never lived so lila pe mandebi nachada sena madeba machiwa kawando baina tindi machi madeba kangin cheudi da so be sonona o da hinda mima yimda bo never to mena mi shinda gun tutang mena sa tindi toba deminanso tindi chegwa yo mare so wa tindi toba chimisiba mare ngaso da dise jutun tindi toba yoro 다 신다고 뜻하면도 신다게 누마에게 내가 진인도 사 된디게 배상로 마보지 레무시바마데 이거로 다 된디 지고라 상황 당고예요 당고예요 말이 강의세나 수수 응함이기 레왕이다 njibu namba miba de lewu di de jenji dan chiri lewu handa jenji dan chiri lewu ro ma do paro bo di langsa pe langsa zu neba jia ji dang so da de ke ja ma ro dang be ke na ma re su su la neba yuan de jenji dan chiri su su ge leng ba sa sa de din din njibu de jenji dan chiri de su su la njibu de lewu njibu de mingwe o da din di miba de su su ha ko ba ji ro 나랑 때 미션을 내번에 찜에 각 개찜에 단두가라 때 드리강이 유두사 드제바이나 단지구요 말이에요. 이 센디기 계셔와 센디기 계셔래 세랑 아마페 자타 똥다 지와는 사람와 자타 똥다 지와는 사람 어 근데 지와는 사람다 다 간다 같이와 같이 랑바이노 게자 같이 사이나 림바기도 수수게 와셔 대상부 사디요래 디바 차치모 같이 제바는 지 보여야만 창상 디네 산의 수준 제부지 막이도 레오를 로아 오 드네 레오를 당어선 제부 미당데 나지 시고래 레슈 치중 돈은 제부도 물을 미야 드디어 다들 렌제가 레오와 무슨 제부 등이 용부야 돼서 용다 만다와 용한테 레슈차 게일레이나 슈 치모도 가리스타바이나 양 제부 미당데 니시 유가지 McGee Sachimo, Satan Raminaso Yorba. Or that is so Sachiwa, Shu Chishi, Karina didn't dribble the Mila, Migu Hesogore. Or the delay was that that's also a legitone, dribble the Migu. That's the country never time at the did, Topa Chipware from Madu, so we landed Resa at the did some town Hesogore. That's also good Topa Sane, that high J. Mimai. Chotamba tandi mambo ji topa jene ya topa tegi chin te wange ya so so nasa saba chin te go nasa saba le chi yo ro o tandi so za ta de so la samo tangwe ge chen bo shi da cha go.
Yeah, so undesirable things happens to our bodies, like for example, sicknesses and etc. And when our mind is unhappy, so when we experiencing this, then we shouldn't think about whatever that I'm experiencing right now is caused by others. For example, God beings, or for example, Naga beings, or others must have cast a spell to me, or this is non-human beings harm me, or the spirits has harmed me. So this is we shouldn't have such. We shouldn't think like this. And then if we were to think like this, if we think in this way again and again, then it will only increase our mental sufferings, or it cause other new problems. So when we're experiencing physical or mental sufferings, what we should think is, this is the result of my past negative karma. So this is the result of my past negative karma, and it ripens because it had met with its right conditions. It met with the conditions already. So this caused on the misdeed that I've done in the past. Now it gave rise to its results. So we should think in this way. So so the good things that we've done in the past, or the bad things that we've done in the past, it definitely will not go wasted, or it will not cease by itself, and it definitely will bring forth its results. So when we create karma, then when we talk about karma, when we further discuss about karma, then we talk about the heaviness of the karma. So if we perform a heavy karma, be it good or bad, then it will bring forth the results. It will bring forth its respective results. So this we'll further discuss when we come to karma topic. So what we should think is, we shouldn't think that they are caused by others. Others non-human beings must have harmed me and etc. So we should think this is the result of my past negative karma that I've done to others. So some people might think, in this life, I'm a good person. I only do good things. I did nothing bad or misdeed. Why is this still happen to me? So you're talking this present life only, what you have done in this present life. So however, we have taken rebirth since we have taken numberless rebirths since beginningless time. So the negative deeds we have we done to others in the past. Now, since it meets with the right conditions, then we experience its results. So this is what we should think when we're experiencing undesirable things happen in our life.
That's in this one. That's a Mali Rama. That under Susu Pina Mundi Binachate, a Liu Jinki Sungi, so did that run change the Danji Terry. That in this one, that this one, that Doi Nasa Maliba. Roa Kangala Susu Nashi, Nasali Nandi Nasa Maliba, the Rangi Nasa data, Shingi Nasa Kanga, the changing date. So soon Nasali Chiki, so get the Dutch the Danzi Maliba Diriwa. Or that diggity, so Pune, the Lama the Kundusula Swatani, that day the Meba, Njomba, fishing a lot of sauce, and this is Susu Kanda, that goes on the Kanda, Dewa, Bumbuchi, Kandarua, Lamala, so that she, but this is a goes on Kanda, Geta, Dueteri, Nishawa, Subashia, did it.
For having inflicted harm on the bodies of migrating beings, now we should willingly take upon ourselves all ailments without exception. So when these sickness afflicted our physical bodies, and this experience of sufferings is caused by self-cherishing attitudes and self-grasping. So in order to eliminate, in order to destroy these self-cherishing attitudes and self-grasping, I willingly take all sicknesses of not only myself and includes other sentient beings as well. So all sicknesses of all sentient beings, I pile it on these self-cherishing attitudes and self-grasping. So pile it, in other words, is to destroy it by piling it on self-cherishing attitudes and self-grasping. Then while continue to make prayers to our lamas and to our meditational deities, please as they continue to bless us to pile all these sicknesses on our self-cherishing and self-grasping. Then we continue. At the same time, we perform or we accumulate good deeds.
That's Mali Natsa Mali Barana Sulang Siwadi, that on the Chinaman Tongli Kisha Shigura, Tongli Kisha Shigure. That China Susugi, Dewang Energy, Patang Bada, Duang Energy Susula, Chulimba, Shingi Dunga Chilimba, and that the Yojarum Major Manzo, sometime Louis, Janda de, Tangamak be changed Tamba Mamuchi to say, Takana Yane Chile, the Yane Chile, Timbashi to go to Yane Chile, Sanji Kumbatoba is Rua. Sanji Kumbatabare. Tanguso, Shinji Dungate, Pesosubi, Lea, Yojan Meja Kandarwa, that the digit Lea Yoris in a Kale Kawarwa, Lea Yoris in a Kale Kawarwa. Or the Disonza, that the Digi Sosubi Logi, Combat Joanati, the Digi Yani Chewdi, that gets a lot Chimbo Sagi, and Niba Chimbo Shibi Liver. Niba Chimbo Liver. And so Tonle Sewade, Epe, Yani Chebamansi, Anton Goatanji. Gets a lot Chimbo Sayada, the Yane message, only so the Yane, only so the Yane message. The big Yane message is Susan, Roa, and so this one, Google do it, sign up what Jibas, and the only in Yane day, when it's a Kamsa, Shibachi, and the Dichimado, that Dama Sharotama, Kasikundu Shiva, Dama Sharotama Suzo, and did the Sugi Bay. That only in Yanide, the summer cinema, the Kutul Tiama is
Okunda Tamati, and the Gombuluki.
Ungumulu to Sumbare. Sani Tamachiva Shazing was only in Yanide. Only Sani Tamachiva Shase. Summer Chene, Yanide Sani, for the Yanich Yamato, Kajun Camilla, Suina, Samara, in Yanich, Chesa Machuti and Marisigo. Rua, he Jinsikas was not. They only in Yanide. Look, Chugo Marika, Dama Sharota was so to the two Kantarwa, Yanit is a Lord Chugo Mari. The new mature from that, the little mature to Sola Pastawan Chivo Remato, the Sola and Yanit Chiagi, the new Mari, yes, 대 자치고 아주 동네에서 치고바 상집에 계절랍 첨부 사야다 비켜와 선부 심지를 했고 다 냐네 뭐네 지금 냐네 제우도 인다기로 예 디 간다 시고도 저 디가 동네 냐네 시고도
So the fourth line of this verse, now we should willingly take upon ourselves all ailments without exception. And this fourth line talks about or shows the Tonglen practice. So Tonglen, Tong is giving, Len is taking. So it talks about Tonglen practice. So however, it is difficult to actually take the sufferings from others and actually offer or give our happiness to others. So it will be difficult to do such, to give our happiness to others and then to take sufferings of others upon oneself. So however, by thinking in this way, now we should willingly take upon ourselves all ailments without exception. So thinking in this way, we create, we accumulate great roots of virtue. So because of this way of thinking, it creates great roots of virtue. And depending on this practice of mind training, then those past great holy beings and even Buddha Shakyamuni, they achieve enlightenment depending on these practices as well, these mind training practices as well. So this word Tonglen, so giving and taking practice. So don't mention we practice Tonglen. So just hearing the words Tonglen itself, we should consider ourselves very fortunate. And then by hearing it, we accumulate great roots of virtue as well, because this practice being a very special practice. So if we were to actually practice Tonglen, then the roots of virtue or the roots of virtue that we will accumulate is numberless. So when we and regarding this Tonglen practice, Nagarjuna says, so you should keep it as a secret. So Nagarjuna commented on Tonglen practice, you should keep it as a secret. Keep it as a secret instructions. So keep it as a secret instructions. What it means is this precious Tonglen practice, and you shouldn't just reveal to anyone. You shouldn't reveal to persons whose mental capacities not fit, doesn't fit for this practice, and you should reveal these practice to those special disciples or special beings. What it means is whose mental capacity is capable of doing this practice. So to those who are unable to do this Tonglen practice, then like for example, ordinary beings, for example, then you should not reveal this practice to them, and then you should keep it as a secret.
디슬로 장 시자 디슬 시자 마자바이나 돈에 연애 제도구만 와 제도구만 제비 충지데 지모로 장한테 내방고도 놓고 근데 디소자 디소소게 된디게 돈에게 냐네 뭐야라 데 간다 소소게 간다 라미네죠 다 라마 쳐바이나라 조치 제바이나라 가디나제 디소 가르 소소게 답디고 주나 디소페 좋아하는 거다 땅 로아 디소게도 땅에 대간다 소소게 돈이 보기야 소소게 디나 간다 예랑 디비 멘다라 서로 예랑 디비 멘다라 제법도 참어 보니 대간다 간다 로아 대 돈이 공가라 디소 배우의 땅 배우의 땅에 대 디케 첨부 차고 마 신체단지 마시 진지 디소 세노도 디소 마고야 지와 오데 당연다 마시바 진진도 지소 디소 거딘 첨부 사야 디소 거딘 첨부 마리바기도 들리지마 사노다 대간다 소소게 자침부 마시바이나 소소게 님이 난가 대단도 다간다 템버 투비 온도 파스타니 대 당고 추지자와 세대자와 파스타니 로아 대 소소르페 오네 냐네 고마라 대간다 신질라도 소스네 대 소아타니 대 소소게 미바종다 다 미바정다 말이 뭐지지 뭐 말리는
So in order to do Tonglen practice, you must first train in the path of small scope and the path of medium scope. So we must preceded the Tonglen practice with the practices of small scope and the practices of medium scopes. So we have to, for example, meditate on death and impermanence and etc. So after we meditate on the path of small scope and medium scope, then we practice Tonglen. Otherwise, then even if we're trying to do a Tonglen practice without such a preliminary practice, then there is no way we will succeed in Tonglen practice. So, and before we engage in a Tonglen practice, then we can engage in Guru Yoga. Now you can perform the Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga, Gandel Hakyama, or you can do Guru Pujas and etc. So after you can also visualize Buddhas in the sky in front, which is no different from our nature, is no different from our real guru. Then to them, then we practice 7 limb practice, and then followed by making mandala to them. So and after we done all this, then we think, then we have to practice equalizing. So equalizing and exchanging oneself with others, and the 7 cause and effect. So we have to equalizing oneself with others. Then we have to recognize as a mother, recognize sentient beings as a mother, and then we remember their kindness, and then repaying their kindness, etc. So these are the steps that we have to do before we do Tonglen practice. Now I'm going to tell you how to do visualization.
The Jiva Shina and the Lama Chiva, the Yushi Jiva, so many wrote in a pair Harua. That Kasiti so Majubaina, this was all Kanda, Rangi Shuola, Kanda, Subtan and Digore, Dina Vatera, Subtan and Digorua, Tindiji Subtanitel, Timbatu Gambada, that Chuji Java said that Tindiji Satan, they Kanda Suzala Kanda, Shinjila to Sos in Rua. Then Tindiji Subtane, they Kanda Rimba in the Suzuki. Only Guayala, Daniel Mahi Chinese, the Marimba, Lois Sanota. They Tony Guaya, so they, that Nguyen over there, Jean Chinzilla, Jun Tawada, Shin Chinzilla, Yundi Sanduboni, that only Mogo, only Guayat. Jean Chinzid, Jun Bang Yesu. Shin Chinzid, Yundi, Puissance of our neighbor. Shin Japan Zimbate, Yundi, Puissance of our Dichi, Puissance of Juniagi, Yana. In the Dishivo. The Ran Jinji Sevati, Dunga Jinchi Meba, non Jinji, Jean Jinji, but doing yes.
Yeah, so yeah, if it's possible, before we do Tonglen practice, then we do Guru Yoga such as Lama Chopa, so that it will be good. And if we can't do that, then at least we visualize on our crown or in the sky in front of us. Then we visualize Buddha Shakyamuni, and then surrounded by Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And then we make requests, we make prayers to them, saying, "Please bless me." So please bless me. Then, so please bless me, and may I succeed in this practice. Then we start by equalizing oneself with others. Then we're recognizing sentient beings as mother, and then we remember their kindness, then repaying their kindness. So we follow the steps, and then after we go through all the steps, then we start to do Tonglen practice. So the way we do Tonglen practice is by recognizing the faults of self-cherishing attitudes and understanding the good quality of cherishing others, the attitudes of cherishing others, and the happiness it will bring by cherishing others. So this cherishing others is the means to achieve excellent happiness and excellent good qualities. So you should, by thinking in this way.
That in this one, that Tony, that Jiba, the Masu, one machine, Sarva, That Jeba Mamushina, and Zinda Dwyer, Lotus of the Rua, that dig of the Didichi, Kanda Tongless were Chilemba, Tambo Hinji Dunga, Suzu Chilemba sometime, yes, Tambo Hinji Dunga, Chile, that Hinji Dunga, so that is who down that Chiba Mamushi, Tambo Hinji Dunga, Chile, they just the only Devada Givade, China Pata, Rua. Dindichi, the Didichi, the Jeba, the one my Shilia Sarama, did not Sasama, Chidam as a Tony Gama, these Shulma, this Jeba, don't have Rua.
Yeah, so the extensive way to do Tonglen practice, so I will not discuss here because if we were to discuss in depth, then we have no much time to go through others verses. So however, I will talk about it when the time is right. And in brief, when we talk about Tonglen practice, so giving and taking. So first, we take sufferings of other sentient beings onto oneself, and then we give our happiness and roots of virtue to others. So in brief, this is what Tonglen or giving and taking practice is about. So brief, extensive one, I will discuss it in future.
Thomas Lojanda to the Rimba, that is a jelly share you, that and the answer summary.
Yeah, because if we were to discuss this Tonglen practice in depth, then you can conjoin it with our breathing, exercise, and etc. Even in many different stages, like for example, before we take the sufferings of others onto oneself. So first, we take our own sufferings onto the self-cherishing attitudes. So I will not go in depth here, talk about it in the future. Verse 11, whenever suffering arises in our mind, it is definitely the sharp weapons of bad actions turning against us for having disturbed the mental continuum of others. Now we should willingly take upon ourselves all their dukkha. So dukkha is sufferings without exception.
So Saja Jemo Jendo by no same Madeba Machiba the Jemo Jiake Major.
Subject.
That's Saja Jemo Jeba, same Madeba the Machiba the Jemo Jiake Major. Kawasuna Madeba Machiba. Chidang was a Richipe, same Machiba Madeba teeth chatty. That's Saja about this Jemo Jenny. And now Chibo Channel, this job so that Katundi, Kishia Hero. What that day, and Maiba. That's also been a Sena Madi Majiba Shuchembo, such a Kabanona Kanda, Piamanjo, Roa, Piamanjo, Tindili, they Kanda, that Chiwangama Glendi la Santan, Roa, Chiwangama Glendi Santan, that Shinji, Shenape, Chiwangama Shenape, that Kanda same Majiba, the Madiba, the Digipa, and never Chiba, that's also like Jibu the Rendu, that's also with Tindigi, Pa, Sanota. This is again Machi Madeba the Pa, Tandolani, Roa, Tandolani, Hinji Cheddar, the Roa, and this is again Hinji Sinji Mutu, that's Hinji Tuwaina, Hinji Dujachiwaina, that's also like that. That doing you but touching the Rosa, the Nigi Sanotani. Dear Tan is the Takanda, Hinji Sinji Mutu, Hinji Cheddar, goes to the Chawam, that's a Kandi Chebaina, Kangi Katichubaina, Kangi to the street to Baji. Tandolani, the Chawa, do me is a Dindiji Santanto Bachuna. I wish that years ago.
So this verse is similar as the previous verse. So here it mainly talks about the mental sufferings. So when our mind, when we feel unhappy or experience a mental sufferings, or our mind feels very disturbed, then we may think that if I move to another place, if I go to another place, then I will become better or I become happier. However, if you're experiencing the mental sufferings and your mind is very disturbed, so just changing the staying place, it will not help. So what will help is by thinking whatever that I'm experiencing right now, mainly refer to the mental sufferings, is the result of my past negative karma that I've done to others. So this is the result. So I experience a result is definitely I have to experience a result. If it's not purified, then I have to experience the result. And whatever sufferings occur to me, then I will embrace it. And then from now on, whatever I will put my three doors, my body, speech, and mind, into creating into creating virtue for the sake of others. So I will embrace whatever hardships by creating the good deeds for the sake of others. Verse 12, wherever we are tormented by intense hunger and thirst, it is the sharp weapons of bad actions turning against us for having cheated, stolen, appropriated, and acted miserly. And now we should willingly take upon ourselves all hunger and thirst without exception.
That's also JB Dunga, Ombi Dunga, and the trouble, no, that trouble, Muslim to Bape, Koya de Pe, Kakone, Chidan Gazo, Kakone, Roa, only Tane, Kan members, Jitin, Tambi, Chishuya, Kakonche, Kan member to say a lodge.
Member.
Mary. Oh, Chetan, Roa, Kakon Chetan, Kalam member to say a lodge. Togoto Chinta Shidu to say a lodge. Sayamara Togoton Tashidu Resansanbush. That the Jagon Trabus is what Roa, Subchimotely. That the Kangi and Chimu Kalarua. That Karichi Versana, that Susugi, that Joangamaki, Senda Joangamaki, that Kanda, Shena Pena, Kashibu Kuni Kala, Didi, Kuni that Jai, Horoboti, Chutuyata, Kunsiagi, the Sutuya to the Nebachiva. The Sula Nebachiva. The Horobi concept of the Togotoni Peshela, Kalaya Posa, Kalapsula Nebachiva. Was the Zul Nebachiva. Dindigi, the Shina, the Shinji no longer to Kumakua, Jabajin Troba, Zay Jeba. What that is also Zay Jeba, Sugi, Wangi, this was la Kanda, that Jagon Duma, Jabosi, Leji Namide, then Sanja was Susan Quarry, yes, it was.
So when we experience sufferings caused by hunger and thirst, then even in there is a saying that if you're so thirsty, then you feel like my mouth is in fire, and when you're so hungry, then you feel like you're about to die of hunger. So there is a saying like that. So that means is you're in great hunger and thirst. So when you experience such sufferings, then what you should think about is this is the result of my past negative karma that I've done to others. Like for example, when others are thirsty, and then I harm their water source, so I ruined or destroy their source of water, so that they have to experience the thirst. And because of this negative karma that I've done to them, they experience thirst. Now I'm experiencing the thirst, the result that I've done to others. So we are the cause of others feeling hungry. Like for example, they have food to eat, but however we ruin their foods, or we contaminate their foods, or pollute their foods, so that they have nothing to eat, then they have to experience hunger. So again, whatever we're experiencing right now is whatever that we have done to others in the past. So similar to others' possessions and wealth, then we by force rob them, take their possessions away by force, or we cheated them, or we stole their possessions, and being miserly with whatever possessions we have. So understand whatever is happening to us is the sharp weapons of bad actions returning on us or turning against us. And now we should willingly take upon ourselves all hunger and thirst without exception. So from now on, so having understood this is the sharp weapons of negative karma returning on me, then from now on, I will do anything for the sake of others. For example, we recite prayers, or we do prostrations, or we do circumambulations, or our wealth is dedicated for others. Whatever possessions we are dedicated for the welfare of others. So basically, when we put effort in working for the sake of others, then when we experience hunger, or when we experience thirst, working for the sake of others, then we embrace such hardships of hunger and thirst. So in our minds, we should be very determined to work for the sake of others. That even if I experience hunger and thirst for the sake of others, I will embrace it. So this is what that is the determinations we should have. So, and we should not just leave the good things or the work for the sake, or the works dedicated for others, just leave it undone, and then we just do other things. So we should not do like that. We should embrace the hardships, even though if we have to experience hunger and thirst. So in the past, Buddha Shakyamuni had embraced such hardships for the sake of others. I too shall embrace the hardships just like Buddha Shakyamuni. So if we have these determinations and this mindset in our mind, then the good deeds that we engage, it becomes a great root of virtue. Verse 13. Whenever we are powerlessly exploited and tormented by others, it is the sharp weapons of bad actions turning against us for having hated those who are inferior and treated them as slaves. Now we should use our body and life in the service of others.
정왕 톤에 배 신지 배 내가 거네 대간다 깔래 리세 강가라 배나 강에 찐이와 내가 거네 근데 소소 강이 냥 신바데 강이 냥바데 다 나마기 레라 손은 당고다 양 세인데다 나마 가루질라 다 소소 마 티세 쪼본다보다 소소라 마완다고 디솔라 소소기 요복기 요모기로 내가 그 뭐마제 되라 배 간다 쪼발라서 바이나한다 신년 바이나한다 리지 간다 고즈를 배 내다 당원라서 든디기 샤왕 년바 뭐 샤왕 년바 든디 왕게 때 간다 소소 왕메 다 신지 왕다 너니 때 간다 내가 미세 내가 지금 미세나 소소 소라 내가 누구야 든디 망부 이거와 니 내가 지금 미세나 마지 빼나 저 소라 네가 요르스네 든디 용어라서 지나 주소 다 든디 강에 체요데 대소소 나마라 배 신라 바데스 왕메 제자 왕메 바 신라 든디 제자 소소라 마 소소야 디진 토이가라 대신다 소소라 메바 선데 시여와이나 다 고소라 투제 든디 따서 한다로 투제 따서 땅가서 기차 가두시네 투제 따와로 투제 따와 다 간다 투제 따서 다 간다 민주
닙주 제바
니지 제바로 오 든디 제사래 다 든디 제사 선자 대소소 그 랭이비 전자의 소소는 코아 예서 다 랭이비 전자 라는 코스와도 랭이 전자라는 코스와도 레전드 소소는 코아 예서 된다 들려와
Yeah, so when we, when others by force forces to do some things that we don't want to do. So, however, we do not have any freedom to say no to them, to those authority, for example, those masters. And if we do not perform as instructed, then our lives will be in danger. So we are helpless like this and have no choice but to perform the works as instructed by those masters. And because of these, then physical and mental, we experience difficulty or experience sufferings. So when we experience this, then we must understand that in these lives or in past lives, definitely we have done it in past lives. That when we were persons, with power or with power, and then we look down those inferior ones, and then we or those inferior ones or the poor ones, then we abuse them, then we exploit them, then we make them slave, and then do all kinds of works, all kinds of hard works. So, and if they do not do well, then we punish them, then we say harsh words to them. So this is whatever we have done to others in the past. So now we are experiencing what we have done to the past, what we have done to others in the past. So that is why it says it is the weapons of negative karma returning on me.
다다다는 존재 소속의 리더 소니데 강에 같이 정반에 다 hin지 된다 봐 내가 거야 다 hin지 된다 체도 다 내가 가르치고는 리소니가 hin지 체도 내가 꾸기 이상 된디기 배 타시 상동 당바지 우리 해서다.
So understands our own faults or the negative karma that we have done to others in the past. So now we should use our body and life in the service of others. So now we should employ our body and life to work for the sake of others. Verse 14. Whenever unpleasant words arise to our ears, it is the sharp weapons of bad actions turning against us. For faults of speech, such a divisive talk, and the like. Now we should reproach our errors of speech.
다 간다 이 된다 되시고로 다 미신다게 기차 간디 시바이나 소소게 고야라 다 저런 미 두자리 세워는 거다 저런 앞에나 꼬막 공개를 세워는 거다 그러와 지도 저런 내가 말어봐 샤워 만디봐 장제 진기를 세워는 것이 다 든지 소소게 기차 신년반다 뭐다 든지 라운이다 고야 좋아 든지 중바이나 소소 마시고 마디바 작으로 와 다들이 지문이봐 안더미나서 소소 고야데 다 가르치 지왕엄마라 가르기 내봐 사르스나 다 링아 예수비나라 나기 내봐 대신라베 간다 참아라서 집에 힘이 참아서네 바로 버티니까 간다 민진바 소야로와 리페 나고네 내봐 차신보 사이디 지레서 간다 레니바 제부디 와 참아라서 나기 내봐 마모치와 주세 대진지 소소라베 기차 가르 코바이나 소소라 지문이 받아 다 소소라베 지말로바이나 소소고 진다고 그래서 소소 기차 뎀바지나 뎀바 마치바처럼 진었어 기차 든지고 오다든도 네바데 소소 강이데 대저 엄마 그거 네바 참말라서 들리 뭐고 제서 선사 그때 레니기参加데 소소는 고아리 누구상
So when others say bad things about us, they accuse us of being a bad guy or being thieves or being a person who do all sorts of improper things. So they accuse us of doing such which we do not do. Then, and because of hearing those unpleasant words, then we are unhappy. So here it mainly refers to the negative karma that we have done with our mouth, or verbal negative karma that we have done in the past. So among three doors, and here refer mainly to the verbal negative karma that we have done to others. So such as saying a divisive speech to others. So divisive talk or divisive speech is to cause a group of people. So they were they were in good relationship. Then you say divisive talk to them, then to cause disharmonious among the group. So this is what a divisive talk is. So because of having accumulated verbal and negative karma, so now I'm experiencing the result of hearing unpleasant words, and others accuse us of what we have, what we never do. Like for example, if we didn't tell lie, and others accuse us of telling lies, and though we say the truth, and then others still accuse us of telling lies, and etc. So when this happens, then we should understand that it is the weapons of negative karma returning on us. So after we recognize that this is something that we have done in the past, and now the experience is unpleasant, it's not pleasant to experience those unpleasant words and etc. So I recognize those verbal negativities as misdeeds or bad things. So from now on, I will reproach for our errors of speech. So I will not create those verbal misdeeds again. So I will stop here, and if you have any questions, then you can ask.
We will ask question in the chat box first, yeah? In the chat box, Justin have asked if you have a karma to suffer broken arm, but indeed but we actually suffer only a scratch instead. How to explain karma defined here? Because we are supposed to suffer a broken arm.
Yeah, penachana so kasa lapa chabe le de sachares ine also kiwa yang june se dila kiwa june ini also kasa ma chunju ma to any di soyo mares any di kola any di kandi dishi to di dishi kandi kyabu na also ngema ina also lapa chabe le de sachares e se dila also yang kiwa jubsang any di ma chunju ma to soyo mares chayo mares any kandi dishi kyabu na any di lapa chabe le de sayo res ini ma chunju ma to chunyo mares
Did ma chunju jinyo le sayo korwa lady
ini de lady jebu ma chunju ma to soyo mares chayo mares kandi nas
did le ko daga re tha cha lady laba cha da ma chunju ji ma de ma chenbu ding nyo ma ge le de ma sa res ko ye laba cha ba da
ini de sacha ro isla laba chabe le laba chabe le de sacha res ini jebu nyu be ka la ini de ma chunju ma to nyu yo mares kharicines
did the lady de bu nyo le ma chunju ji de bu nyo ma de le ma sa res
다랑기 라바타 가서 라바 차베 레 데니기 왕기 애니 데마 충충마도 소요 마레스 차요 마레스
아주 갈래데
가서 라바 차베 레 데이 왕기 레 데이 데고이나 라바 차로
라바 차다 마스야 니가 마다 라바 차 니가
레지레
레데 그러 레디고 라바 차네 마 충충지 뇨 소니 게 등이 요가다 다 레디로 레디고 되버리 레지를 와서 봐 망부 용으로 와
가리지네 마 충충 용들이 마도 애니디 라바 차바 데 용요 마레스
마 전부
가서 안디 디파타야디나
디디시요 그래서 소소 레지 좀 말했고 레베 마나서 레베 라밤 차방지 데킬라 라바다 컴바니가 차바길래 용으로 와 라바다 컴바니가 차길래 지 두사고를 용으로 와 용으로 다 라바 차니 야 라바라 마티야기 냠도 레트리 지가 사는 거야.
다들 레지리기잖아.
레지사
레지레.
레지 마다 라바 차니가 용적을 해서디 레지기 용을 했고. 데마스 레지 컴바 라바 시다 차 레지 용을 했고.
단다이네 디 가르치니 디 마충 양 데니와 데 동에 뇨와 나시 니 디 가서 가르치니 양 디고 가서 나야 디 마도 니 디 용기 마레스 디 다기 기차이나 가서 양 레 두자디 디 다와이나 샤동 제와이나 아니 디 가서 가서 제부 충중 마도 동에 충중 마도 용어 마레스 덴디나
단다 쿠브네데 레기 라바 차바데 레기 레버리스 빌로라 데 레버리스 마 충중 용어데 레기 레버리스 레기 레버리스
that say dila ngso de kiwa junne say dila ngso
저 컨트롤 하잖아
la
라바 차니 마 충주지 용으로서래 라바 찬 레지 라바 차데 레고마 레기 사
ngoma de le sa chares
라바 차바 냥도 라바 람마 라바 차바데 냥도 마시 잡으러 와 마시 레고로 와 마시 잡으러 와 마디오 레디기 이 잡으려 해서 레기 되고 라바 차바데 마디기 레디기 되고 라바 차바 레디기 되고 라바 차바 냥도 마디에 레디기 되고 라바 차바 나수디에요 레디기 되고 나수가 아니라 디오 레디기 되고
ini lady sayo lete ini de jebu nyu me kavla lapa chayo mares lapa chayo mare lady sayo rete lapa chaba lady sayo rete ju jebu nyu chetila kiwa junne chetila kiwa junne le de jebu nyu me kavla ma chungju ma do soyo mares karejines
그렇죠. 그래서 라바 차세요. 라바 차야 맞아요.
제 제자
그것도 좀
가자 가서 니와라 가자 니와라 중에 용배 중에 가자 니와라 중에 용배 레디 사차레스 니디 샤동 전에 아니 가서 디고 나자마도 they knew what was they nangxing they didn't inas kasa ceti la kiwa tumne le je jebu new makeup lama chungchu mato new yo mares
chen jebu the meat side chetlan jebu the meat side cheti ya dewa chiju ma the nomono this so ke yo mata and then jebu the lesero lawa kan jebu the lesero
kiwa tumne ro kiwa tumne ni ti jebu the new makeup la
this is the jewa normal shi chungu is this jewa normal pena lapa chag lesa wa ina ya jewa normal dela suzuki le pasado ya bo chine lapa chag chukdela lapa la ma chunju ji ma do maiwa bi su shado chi ya yore sta jewa kije ding sa
ya di kongki an di kiwa tumne ni di
ding sa ne ko da chako shi
Yeah. So regarding your questions, so how is karma defined here? Because we were supposed to suffer a broken arm, and karma, before we experience the result, it can be purified. So when we do purification practice, then we purify the negative karma. We purify the negative karma. So to a lighter version. So we purify the heavy karma, such as a broken arm, to a lighter versions, then so that we only experience a small wound or a small scratch.
다데 하고네 소소그 베텔라 샤동체 님보토기 때 샤동체 그 샤동체네 등아 냐와라 등아 노모고게 근데 샤동체네 다토바지 그 다토바지 시구베 냐와마 다시 푸는 데바나시 마 제베데 추지 마 제네 코 제스 상바지마도 등에 자원이 노모고바 다 상기 어 리잉고레스 다바지 저런 게 로야 디사를 지우듯이 된다고시
That's right. Yeah. So so what you are saying, what you asked in your questions is, so probably is similar to this common example that we talk about. So in this life, for example, if we were to create a negative karma, so heavy that it will bring forth the result of born, taking rebirth in the hell realms. Then we understand the negative karma that we have done, then we purified it with the 4 opponent powers, then the negative karma is purified. So what we have to experience from this heavy negative karma is we born in hell realms, just like a bouncing ball. So we just born there and then immediately we take another rebirth in other realms already. So we do not experience any sufferings there in the hell realms. So I think your question is very similar to this common example that we usually talk about. So it's purified, the negative karma purified.
Okay. Yeah. Next question is from is about Yulia was asking, Geshila was saying something about Tonglen. We must practice Tonglen or small scope, Tonglen or medium scope. Is that what Geshila said in the teaching?
Ale, yang Geshila de Tonglen share kau lai ni yang kibu chungu kibu chung ding ko la share ma. Ini yang kongi kowa de ya kongi kowa de kibu chungu ki Tonglen 제당 간대지 나왔어. 양 기부 dengi 동래인 간대 나다 기부
치고 말은 니들로 근데 제가 가서 동래 세워던 거 대박 친구들 노조 시켜 시고로 전주시민 양래 그제 시고로 대가서 기부 충분한 팀목을 랑도서 노장가 내가 장고를 해서 와 저와 못하다 신이 된서다 린지 어디서 단조서랑 내가 노장고를 해서 다 기분 진짜 팀목을 연주라서 박사랑이 봐 노정부를 해서 다들 수시사가 돈이 땅가서 돈이 공부를 모두 대 돈이 뭐야 수시사면은 돈이 뭐야 아까래 가고 있었어.
Yeah. So regarding your questions, so when we talk about practicing Tonglen, then we have to practice the path common to others' vehicles, common to others' scope. For example, the path common to small scope and the path common to the medium scopes of beings. So because this Tonglen practice is a Mahayana practice, is a practice of great scopes of beings, is the practice of bodhisattvas. So if we do not practice the paths common to small scope and the great small scope and the medium scopes of beings, such as meditating on death and impermanence, practice relying on guru. If we do not reflect on karmic cause and effect, and if we do not think about the precious human rebirth endowed with 8 freedoms and 10 endowments, then we are like trying to practice. We are trying to engage in the Mahayana mind training practice without a foundations, because those paths common to small scope and medium scopes are the foundations for this Mahayana mind training practice.
Yeah, so these are the topics of medium and small scope, and she's thinking there is a special Tonglen for small scope, special Tonglen for medium scope. So misunderstanding. Okay, next question is about how do we know we have actually successfully practiced Tonglen?
Tonglen ye nyamle de yabo yongbe ta de kandi resa ta sang ka sang so de Tonglen de yabo chegi dus ta de kari resa.
Ta Tonglen yabo cheu de nga so da yin nang ji ge lo jang da so yabo go ro wa shi za. Ta ngene da yin nang ji lo de jang Tonglen yabo go de de gang da nga so sin ji tang ji be so so ge ama nang ji za chen bo ji tong chen bo dian di be ama la Tonglen go de ba ji xin sin ji la go ma de ba dian di chung ba yin na de Tonglen pi da bo cha to yo ma dan do ro ba so so ge gasa da do bo da dian di la Tonglen go de ba ji da xin da ba ma da zha zhe la Tonglen go ma de ba yin na Tonglen ya to ya bo cha to yo ma da de cha ma la dian di ge Tonglen nyang ba xi go de ba ji chung ba yin na da we ne zhe Tonglen ya bo go de da de le wo.
So what is a sign that we are that we succeed, or our Tonglen practice is doing our Tonglen practice well? So as I mentioned just now, the foundations of doing Tonglen practice is must be preceded by the equalizing self with others and the 7 cause and effect. So those are the foundations. So for us to do a Tonglen practice, so if we able to do if we able to cherish all sentient beings as one mothers, and then we show concern to all sentient beings just like what we show to our mothers equally, then this is a sign that we are doing good in our Tonglen practice. So however, if we do not have such practice, if we do not have such mindset or perceptions, like for example, I can do Tonglen practice with the mothers, with the biographical or with our own mother. Yeah, so we can do Tonglen practice with our own mothers, but we cannot do the same Tonglen practice with other sentient beings, like for example, strangers or even our enemies. So if we cannot equally do Tonglen practice as we do with our mothers, then we cannot say that we are doing good in our Tonglen practice.
Yeah, thanks. Gishla, one last question.
Gishla, can I ask?
One last question from the web. Gishla, one student asked, what is the cause for one have short life and die young?
Saya tungtung dah ni di kasa dayang saya di kasa ni di chomba the tombik the good kare sabaris.
Jirita Jawangamal pen Sochi Mambuchi, Digli Levo. He is all never Mambuchina. This was a Tsetuada, Kazi, Susu Miligi Lemba in Tsetumba. Yeah, Nina Samoa, the new world. That she is all never cheer dearest, Lady Deputy, Nami Jutso, the
Yeah, so the main cause of experiencing short lifespan and die young is creating a lot of killing karma in the past. So even if we have to experience the suffering results in lower realms, and even if we were to born as a human beings, then we will experience a short lifespan and many sicknesses. So the main cause is creating a lot of many killings.
Gisela, verse 9 clarification. When karma has ripened, what Gisela says is that don't blame it on external objects like naga harms. But on the other hand, we still request for pujas, like naga puja or Haigriva puja to purify what has already ripened. So that is a bit in the. Would like Gisela to explain on that angle? When karma has ripened, because Gisela said don't blame external objects, but at the same time, we still do pujas, request the pujas to overcome this naga harm. For example, we get skin diseases, which normally associate with it, and then on checking out the mole by a lama, then you say that is not naga harm, then we request for the naga puja. So this a little bit contradictory.
Yeah, any 그래서 지지의 우바 대시 비가 라 아니가 저 그래서 수수기 류라 뇌바기 와이나 시행기 류라기 와이나 아니 그래서 류이 뇌바다 아니 디 미마이기다 동제기 아니 디 딘데 아니 디 삼로 마땅바 아니가 저 수수기 레 nga마이 레 왕기로 이네 단다 레데 제부데 민차레스 이네 가서 lui kaza tandingi kaza nyamlen de chegi yo bata ne di kaza ngaso kaza lui kaza luto de tangi oro ini de jebu de mincha ro isla jebu de mincha res kaza shengi ini de sosogi luila nyoba ki oro ini di jebu de mincha ina nganzu tandu luto de tangi yo bata ini di tandingi nyamlen chegi yo bata ini samsam la ini yang rimbuche la chamo sine di begu shune ini di lui nebares ini di luto pena chashana di luto gi tangi di lapcha de nangi yo ros ini di jebu mincha ina kharijine tandu luto denso tango es
the jet mutina maso mayo never mayo chidresa maso leswade 지난 아주 미마이로 그 등도지 소자 그 차도 첨부요로 차도 첨부 뭐마게 내버지나 스스로 인제부 미차는 다 제스 코로나 양자 문티네 내버 마지야 엔디기 체들에서 그와 디리 체는 가서 미지 저치 두자 시부 차와이나 코니 추보시네 시부 차와이나 야 제스 코로나니 배 양자 추보 마티에 제도 배 나서 코로나니 바 시디스야다 디리 체위와 대화 나시리스와 코로나 팀부지 있어야서 시구란 투바 마지에 저거 마투야 된지서요. 왔다 알르세와다 맞아 미마이 제세와 저 정말 다 소소게 로단 두다 거네 고소를 좁아셔. 근데 고소 마디바 좁아 된지셔가이나 때 코로나제 간다 타마바 수지원 타마바 선자 일저 내가 리뷰했어. 지구했어. 그러와 어때 그런서 반대바 가야서 어제도 또 당시 제리 그런서 반대바 가야 청소는 대바 사야 투야 대바 창조 필수 소바 되지 청소 다 신체의 청소 때 별내시네 다 랑글이라 빼라네 신라 내바 마시서 랑 신라 내바지나 소소로 등에까지는 신라 등이 연구해서 다 청소 대바 가야바 창나 청소 비자 요새보다
신라 내바 미기야
신라 내바 랑글이라 빼라네 신라 내바지야 맞아 랑기 리드라 빼나서 땅에 주나 등에 가진 두스와 내바지나 다 신라 대가래 다 저런 대바 가요 pizza is.
Mm.
This is never much. I am not in the meat. Then jail Padwaki.
Yeah, what you said is correct. So if the karma is already ripened, then there's no way it can be purified. So other than experience it. So however, we still do Naga pujas, or we still do different types of practices in relation to other beings. Like for example, Naga beings, is because so that we stop these from happening again. So we stop these from happening again. Like for example, Naga beings or Zen spirit, or they are non-human beings, and they belong to animal beings, and they have great jealousy. So they have great jealousies, and if we were to cause any harm to them by throwing dirty things on them, then since they are ordinary beings, then they will harm us back. So so it is not about. So even though the past karma has already ripened, but by doing Naga pujas and other practices is to stop these from happening again. It's just like two people, they fight, and then they fought one time already, and then to stop them from fighting again, then you make yeah. Yeah. So then you try to reconcile them back into a better relationship, right? So it's just like this. So they already fought, and then to prevent them from fighting again, then you reconcile them. So when we do Naga pujas, then is to telling them that is to tell them that don't harm others. So taking oneself as an example, that is not that is unpleasant. So then you give advice to them that do not harm others. Give advice to them, do not harm others anymore. Then I provide I provide all the necessities to you. So good food, the delicious food, clean water, and etc. I offer you these excellent offerings. Then don't harm others.
Thank you. Let's stop here today.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. That is
So we conclude with dedication. We dedicate the merits, roots of virtue accumulated since beginningless time. So may it be the complete cause for Buddha Dharma to flourish, and may all sentient beings have happiness, and may all teaching upholders of Buddha's teachings, represented by His Holiness Dalai Lama and Kyabje Lama Zopa Rinpoche, may they live long in good health, and may their enlightened activities accomplish instantaneously. So we also dedicate this merit, these roots of virtue for the world peace. May happiness prevail the world, and may the world be free of pandemic, wars and conflict, and famine.
Dāgī jīnyē
Sāvē kīwā dī tīntāṅ rōwā guṇā kāmbē nā kīwā jīsē lōsāṅ chāpā yī tīmbē nīmbō rīndō sē jē shō Semcho Rinpoche Mage Bana Kikuji Wa Nyamba Mipa Yang Kone Kondo Pewa Shoi Chita Kempa Da Kundo Sambu De Yang Deji De Da Kungi Jesu Da Lo Chi Gewa De Da Tamche Rabdo Ngoi Rinpoche Mage Bana Kikuji Kiba Nyamba Mipa Yang Kone Kondo Pewa Shoi Tawa Rinpoche Mage Bana Kikuji Kiba Nyamba Mipa Yang Kone Kondo Pewa Shoi Gewe Tenzi Kyo Bewe Kunshi Tobo Se Chusung Gowe Lemme Tutu Bataso Tuje Kundo Jate Shoi Jesun Do Jube Lang Cheche Sese Kanchen Tendu Gen Chana Pimo Tenzi Gaso La Soa Teso Chete Lenjo Shoi Kande Pende Madu Ba Kande Jungwe Sambe Ishin No Kadin Sume Tenzi Gaso La Soa Teso Kyushe Lenjo Shoi Kawe Kowe Shinkande Pendant Dewa Malu Jungwe Ne Chere Sewa Tenzi Gaso Chape Site Batu Tengyo Chi.
Oh yeah, thank you everyone.
Thank you, Kishala. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.